coming back to the cultural differences, doing a pan-Scandi production and having local stars, as television pretty much is a local television culture with your local celebrities. Have you ever thought of creating a pan-Scandi celebrity with all those shows?
We had a couple of celebrities in Sweden. We had actually, I think it was 3 celebrities in each episode.
Yeah.
But they were not
very
well known in Denmark or Norway. So for us it was like a celebrity thing, but for them not.
Yeah.
Ordinary contestants.
Yeah, so what we did was that we actually, the celebrities from the other countries, we just treated them as normal people. And then we focused on our own celebrities.
So you've never thought of making a Norwegian celebrity a Danish celebrity?
I don't think it's possible because, sadly, we don't give a shit about each other. Maybe it would be... maybe it would be possible with the royal families, which are obviously well known. We've asked them several times if they wanted to participate in Temptation Island and stuff like that, and they said no.
So that would be the reality competition, the royal reality competition game. Sara, when you just take Wipeout as an example, an Endemol format, when you negotiate the deal, obviously Endemol, I assume, won't give you the license and say this is a one territory production. How do you deal with that?
No, they had to treat us like one territory because otherwise it was hard for us to do this production. It was such a big, huge cost with everything, and they understood that we couldn't make it, so that was actually the only way to do it. And it was also, we understand that we can't tell Endemol what kind of obstacle course, but we can talk to them and say, okay, this works for us. And they actually made a very good plan for us to making this production as a pan-Scandinavian.
The idea of creating revenue, is there an idea how you share that amongst yourself?
Of course, the cost reflects the size of the market.
Okay.
So Sweden have to pay the most.
So it's
they're biggest.
Always.
But they don't get more celebrities in there, or more. So
no,
that's where they treat it democratically.
Yeah.
And, okay. Where you don't have the distribution power of one of those multinational production corporations, where you probably have to approach the format sale in a much more clever way. Yeah. And in particularly, I think the idea of that centralized knowledge that you have to buy into, and that you don't give away so easily. The problem, well, there is a usual phrase about how to protect your format is basically a buyer wants to buy access to the knowledge and experience of the program makers. However, once you've given your knowledge away, you cannot call it back. And that is, in the history of format trades, you can see that you basically educated your licensee, and maybe in the second season he won't be your licensee anymore. A question would be, if you would team up with the format distributor, where is the real revenue for the distributor if most of the money is made in the production, basically?
I think what you will see is that, of course, the bigger production companies are both producers and distributors, so they kind of eat off both sides. I think the big question is, what will happen with the independent IP? And we have distributors who work, who only distribute IP and don't have production facilities. I think what you will see in the future is that we will see independent line production companies being established that will really work very closely with independent IP, and that will work very closely with internal production companies and broadcasters. Because there is a kind of, whereas in the big production companies all these elements are united, the independent IP doesn't have really access to this way of working. So I think that is a hole in the market which will be filled.
When you have that homegrown show, and when you begin to enter the international market, and when you look for a distributor, what would be the boxes you tick for finding the right distributor and making the right deal with that distributor so that the knowledge still is centralized with you?
I think it is very important that if you have a good show, if you have a hit, stick with your hit. You go with the hit. Don't get a distributor.
Yeah.
Work with them, work with people, but put the investment in it. you know, to go and travel with your format at the beginning. In the beginning, you have to be the memory of your own format. You know, once it is rolled out, it becomes bigger, more people can get involved, etc. But I think, you know, in a producer's lifespan, he can maybe have 3 or 4 hits. Yeah. So if you have one, first of all, recognize it, and actually, you know, be with it. Of course, a producer, especially if the company is small, has a lot of worries. He has to defend his turf in his own country. He has to, you know, grow his company. So, you know, in general, he says, like, you know, I'll just give it to a distributor. But I think that is the wrong choice, I would say, personally.
And I have to say, from the broadcaster side, we, if it's evented from one of our channels, it will be distributed by our group, distributor 7-1 International, of course. And we will be consulting if other territory buys the format. I think the one who innovated it will be consulting other territories.